Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. This is not your first time. Thank you for coming back. So, you guys, oh my gosh, I woke up this morning, maybe because yesterday, actually the day before, and all day yesterday, I was glutenized and I was effed up. I felt like death. I totally felt like death. But it's okay. We survived. We survived. We're a survivor. Mhm. We're a survivor. Okay, let me just stop. So this morning I'm going to be doing an energy update. Something shifted. Going back to what I was talking about with me surviving. I'm just unkillable. Don't try. Just saying, just because I'm joking around saying I'm unkillable does not mean you try and kill me. Okay, so in all seriousness, I woke up this morning and something was so different. Let's find out what that is. I feel like it's a good type of different. I feel like humanity had swung to one polarity and now we're starting to swing back to another polarity, a good polarity. Okay, I don't know if you guys are feeling it. I'm hella feeling it. I'm hella feeling it. I'm feeling hella good today. All right. Ooh wee. This reading's about to get real crunkadocious. And my eyeballs just shifted. Lots of shifting still going on, okay? Lots of shifting still going. A lot of shifting is still going on. Those of us who are very sensitive to energy may feel it. Oh, speaking of, totally forgot to make posts, but I finally did it before I came live here while I'm getting the cards ready. I'm going live at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today. Today's a 444 portal. If y'all don't know what that is, today's the 4th month, 22nd day. 2 plus 2 is 4. The year is 2020, which is another 4. Plus, I hear it's a new moon. So this is going to be extra. With that, I want to tell you guys, since I'm back at the farm, the 444 portal will be an actual fire ceremony with a fire pit. We're going to burn some stuff, you guys. We're going to, well, just wood. We're not going to burn crazy things, okay? No crazy burning stuff. But we are going to have a really, really elevated fire ceremony. I don't think I've ever shared this. Where I moved to, I'm right by a vortex. I didn't want to tell you guys, but I just did. Where I moved to, I'm literally right by a vortex. Right by a vortex. Okay? So the amount of energy that's going to go into tonight's ceremony, sorry, I didn't give you guys advance notice, is going to be intense. It's going to be seriously, seriously intense. Okay? So if you want to be a part of that, how I usually have, go to my website. All right, guys. And you don't have to buy anything to be a part of it, just so you know. All right, card number 9. What do you feel? Ooh, this is such a potent card because really right now when we're swinging through different polarities, what are you feeling? Are you feeling apples or oranges? Are you feeling apples or oranges? And maybe what's most important is instead of trying to categorize apples or oranges, maybe we should just recognize that both the apple and the orange are very nourishing. So no matter what you're going through, whether it's the apple or the orange, it's nourishing you. It's providing you some sort of spiritual nutrition, okay? So green apples tend to be tart. They tend to be a little bit sour. Oranges tend to be a little bit sweet, right? So if you're going through a tart phase or if you're going through a sweet phase, just focus on your existence here on earth. Just focus, okay? And I just want to say this. I know, gosh, I know it's going to piss people off, but have I ever really been someone to not say something because it's going to piss you off? I've always been one to just be brutally truthful, okay? Here's the thing. There are a lot of people who partake in the whole this is the grand transition. Why are you tripping? This and that. You're just not spiritual. You just don't meditate enough. You know, uh, reel it back. That's a little too harsh, girl. That's a little too harsh. I'm not going to say that. I will say, whatever it is that you're going through, it's valid. Okay. Whether you're doing something spiritual or not, in order to cope, your existence, your experience is valid. Don't let people who are on some sort of spiritual high horse platform make you feel bad, make you feel like you haven't done enough, make you feel as though you're not a star seed and you're not a light warrior or whatever the hell else terms they use. I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm doing perfectly fine. I don't even consider myself spiritual anymore. I am a very old soul having a very real, very visceral human experience. And that is enough. It's enough. You are enough. Don't allow people to make you think like, oh no, you're getting left behind because everyone else is going to ascend, but you're not. That's a lie. That's a lie. Even the people who don't partake in any spiritual stuff, don't believe in any of the spiritual stuff, they too are rising in frequency. The rise in frequency is actually very much tied to our consciousness expanding. That's all this is. Consciousness expanding. As long as you are in a human body, you are a human first and foremost. And for these people who are thinking they're somehow elevated above everyone else because they have this label and that label and blah, 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 blah. You know, I've been filtered through pretty much every single galactic race and I am still human. In this life, in this moment, I'm human. I'm a stay-at-home mom sharing my journey, and that's enough. That is more than enough. That in itself is a powerful experience. So you guys, if you feel like you're not enough because you haven't done this, you haven't done that, you haven't taken these classes, you haven't blah, 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 blah. Hey, I haven't taken any classes. Let that sink in. I mean, not that I'm anything, but I haven't taken any classes. That hasn't lessened my worth. Okay? There's no one in this world that can lessen, diminish your worth except you. You have to agree to that in order for it to happen. So don't agree. That's why I don't agree to nothing. You know what I'm saying? Especially not to negativity. That's a whole mood in itself right there. Oh, the negativity gave her the vapors. She from the south and she got the vapors from all this negativity. It just oh shit. I didn't even notice the bag. I don't know what kind of gangster party they had, but look at these folks in the back. Hold on. You guys see it? The folks in the back. They have some sort of gangster party. She's just over it. She's over it, okay? Now, here's the thing. You see all these mushrooms. Mushrooms tend to grow from the decay. There is richness in the decay. The world is decaying right now. The current system, the current paradigm, it's in a state of decay. Oh gosh, it's on my phone. I wanted to share what Unified Astrology had told me the other day because I got all riled up in a live stream. I got real riled up. And it wasn't that I was trying to stop the process. It was that I was so sick and tired of the process. But he had told me something along the lines of allow the system to basically dismantle itself. Don't interfere with that process. It's a part of the natural process. Instead, kind of just wait for the time where I can go ahead and honor what my soul is here to do, which is encourage, inspire, uplift. And being a part of that like war really is not what I'm here for. It's not, despite the fact that I'm very Aggressive. Sometimes, yes. Capricorn moon. Sometimes I can be very aggressive when I get very emotional. And so that was a really good thing to hear. It wasn't him telling me to not be myself. Unified astrology was trying to encourage me to remember the truth of who and what I am. Yes, I have a lot of Mars energy. Yes, I have Capricorn. Yes, I can get real aggressive, and that's not what I'm here for. So it wasn't don't be yourself. It's remember who you actually are. Okay. So that's a really good message for us right now. Um, as things shift, some people don't want to shift, and we have to be okay with that. Just because they don't want to shift doesn't mean we can't. That's the beautiful thing about sovereignty, the beautiful thing about an individuated experience. We are free to create and co create to our heart's desire. You want to have a miserable time? Go ahead. You can do that. You want to have a good time? Go ahead. You can do that too. So it's really what you choose for yourself. It's really, really what you choose for yourself. And I think at this point, many of us are choosing something more elevated than what we've been giving, what we've been creating, what we've been receiving. And that's the most important thing for us to remember. If you allow yourself to receive the negative, then that's what you'll get. But if you refuse the negative, just like you can refuse a positive, then you'll get something else. When we continue to not allow ourselves to receive positive things, positive interactions, support, things like that, it doesn't come in. Well, the same thing with negativity. Everything you can do in a positive way, you can also do in a negative way. Everything you can create in a negative way, you can create in a positive way. It's beautiful. You're all powerful in your life. Okay. Notice how I said in your life. You are not to tell other people what to do. Okay. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm sharing my opinion, and you can receive it or you can reject it. I have no say in that. And it's perfectly okay. I don't need your agreement. You're here because for whatever reason, something in you is telling you I have a message to give you. And that's all this is. That I recognize this for what it is. You need something that my soul is asking me to deliver, and then you go about your merry way. That doesn't mean you have to stay. That doesn't mean you owe me something or I owe you something. No, it's a beautiful, mutually beneficial exchange. So card number 19, Naz. Feel loved and proud. There you are. You have to feel loved and proud. Do you have to feel like you're loved by other people? I mean, that's nice. That's really nice, but is it necessary? No, I think what's more important is you feeling loved by yourself. And being loved by you doesn't necessarily mean you're constantly your own cheerleader. It means you're constantly your best friend. Sometimes best friends disagree. Sometimes best friends get ugly with each other. But no matter what, best friends stay together, right? They support each other. Sometimes if your best friend is doing something that you think is really, really stupid and is going to create a lot of drama for them, you have to say that. Girl, that's really stupid. You're going to make some drama for yourself. And, you're saying it out of love. So why don't you begin speaking to yourself out of love versus tearing yourself down? Because there's an entire world that exists that has no problem tearing you down. There's never going to be a shortage of people questioning you, causing you to question yourself, causing you to feel like you don't deserve, causing you to feel as though you're too much, not enough, all of that. So be your own best friend. Recognize you're just enough. Whatever stage, whatever phase you're in, you are just enough, perfectly enough. And people who can't handle you, well, that's their own thing. They don't have the ability to handle you. That's fine. Okay? As long as you can handle yourself. Just handle yourself is all you need to do. Now, this next card is very indicative of what's going on. Resilience. Notice all of that parasitic looking stuff in a basket on her back, and she's hunched over forward. Card number 21. This is the blackjack card. This is the spade. Spade leading to the knowing of the Jedi. DJEDI. Jedi. So this is what's been going on for humanity for many, 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 many generations, pretty much every single generation since humanity has existed. And the thing is, we keep choosing to allow ourselves to be the beasts of burden. You're not familiar with what beast of burden is? It's the cows and the horses on the farm. They're the ones that have the yoke around their neck, dragging heavy, heavy machinery. They're the ones that help the farm to continue to function. They take on the job of many, many, many farmers. So one single farmer can plow a field, an entire field. Are you nothing more than a beast of burden? Are you? Are you just a beast of burden? Or at some point, are you willing to explore the possibility that you also are a farmer? That you also have the right and the ability to cultivate the field of your life, to cultivate the garden of your mind? Because you do, you have that ability. And we've basically been forced into this way of being, but we are resilient. We are resilient. You look at all these races of people, their entire race basically subjugated to all sorts of negativity, all sorts of abuses, all sorts of really just nasty things. Okay. What happens? Did that race of people die? Absolutely not. Thank you, Alban. They didn't. They didn't. If we want to just be like blunt and put it out there, look at African Americans who were sold into slavery. Their ancestors were sold into slavery. Did they perish? Absolutely not. Despite the way they were treated, they still continued to rise. There are so many African American individuals who have risen to places of recognition, places of power. They've succeeded in different things, all these beautiful things, inventions that were created by people who should have perished, but they didn't. Well, see, that's what we are. The entirety of humanity is resilient. It's not just one race, it's all of us. But so many of us fail to remember this because we really buy into that lie of you're only what we tell you you are. You have to conform. We are a herd. Well, I'm not a fucking cow, brah. I'm not a cow. I'm not part of a herd. I'm a sovereign human being and I don't have to follow behind you. You don't have to follow behind me. We can walk shoulder to shoulder if you agree. But the moment you try and force me to follow you, you're going to get a whole different side of me. I'm not going to follow you. Uh-uh. I'm not going to follow you. And that's what you have to remember. You don't have to follow. You don't have to comply. What you have to do is question and see what resonates with you, what feels like truth, what feels like it's in alignment with what you need. Inform yourself so you can make an informed consent for everything, not just medical things, but for everything. Everything. And this is the very reason why all of a sudden there are certain rules popping up where you can't say things that are against certain organizations that want that want everyone to comply, want to mandate things. No. No. That's all you have to say. No. Nope. Nope. No. That's it. No. That's a sentence all on its own. Card number 11, diving for light. Ooh, that's deep. Okay, so with this card, sometimes in order for you to understand the gravity of your light, you have to be surrounded by darkness. For some of us, this is a very short period. For others of us, this is pretty much our entire life, and we convince ourselves we are dark beings, we are evil, we do bad things because we're dark. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's the most beautiful and powerful of light that often has to be very much surrounded by darkness so that individual who is full of light can understand the gravity of that light, so that in the darkness they can see all the textures, the depth, exactly what it is their light is here to do. So diving for light, sometimes the only thing you can do when you're surrounded by darkness and you don't know who you are still is to dive deep into your core where your light shines. And then you'll begin to really understand who you actually are. This is a period of ascension, okay? This is a period where your DNA is being activated, either through a trauma response or because you're allowing it, because you're cultivating it. Not allowing the trauma, but because you're allowing the energy to flow through you. So, this is a time of rising up, expansion of consciousness, allowing energy to activate dormant portions of your coding. It's a beautiful time. It's a very beautiful time, but realistically, it's also a very scary, very uncertain time. So there's a lot of things people will go through. Yes, trauma response, because trauma is often used to accrete energy. It's a trauma induced accretion, a TIA. That's a term that I have coined because I recognize over how many years of work. I've been doing this for over 20 years. Okay, over 20 years. All that time, I recognize when people experience massive amounts of trauma. It could be from a breakup, it can be from a massive car accident, it can be from losing somebody. Um, that kind of trauma, it's like an adrenaline. It's like an adrenaline response, a fight or flight. It activates certain dormant sections of your morphogenetic template. It's like your parasympathetic system. And then you have to decide, am I going to fight or am I going to fly? And that type of energy that comes in, it's spiritual adrenaline. It gives you that boost to go ahead and leap, going to higher levels of dimensional consciousness. So it's not necessarily that I have to traumatize you in order for you to rise. It's that sometimes in order to have that level of rise, your higher self agrees for certain things to happen so that it can jar you enough and the human brain will kind of partially shut down because of the trauma. It's the human brain that causes most of the resistance for your rise. So when the human brain kind of shuts down and is like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, then the soul can take over. That's what I mean by trauma induced secretion. Hold on, guys. I'm not playing that mess right now. Card number 33, hydrate. Many of us have been in a phase where we have been depleted. And you're probably like, what do you mean hydrate? How's that have to do with trauma-induced accretion and rising up? Well, energy is like liquid. It's hydroplasma. The purest of energy is hydroplasma. It's a liquid energy. If you allow yourself to be infused with this energy, it's not my energy. This is an energy that's gifted to all of us. If you allow yourself to drink of this energy, to be infused with this energy, you then replenish yourself. And so many of us, I was talking to a really good friend about this yesterday. Um, so many of us allow other people to convince us that we need to deplete ourselves, that we have to martyr ourselves in order to be good people, in order to be spiritual, in order to be seen as spiritual. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is one of the biggest lies and abuses of those who came into this life to help humanity ascend. If you think that martyring yourself, because that's what it is, you're martyring yourself. If you think martyring yourself is some sort of spiritual elevation, that is the biggest lie you have ever been told. I'll tell you why. Martyrdom is a form of manipulation. Absolutely, 100%. I stand by what I just said. Martyrdom is one of the sickest forms of manipulation. I'll tell you why, because I used to partake in this. Okay. When you martyr yourself, it's because you are attempting to get someone else to see you in the way you want them to see you, which is a good person. Manipulator. You are manipulating someone else. That is not okay. That is not okay. It is one of the worst forms of selfishness. Okay? You want so badly for someone else to see you the way you choose for them to see you. So you will manipulate their emotions. You will manipulate their thoughts. Are you really good? Are you a really good person if you're doing that? Absolutely not. You are insecure and you are a manipulator. And this applied to me as well when I partook in that. Okay? Absolutely. I was like that before until too many people took advantage of me. And then I realized they're not taking advantage of me. I'm doing this. I'm creating this. This is why I'm consistently in a state of depletion, consistently in a state of impoverishment, and all these other things. Well, because I'm doing that. I'm teaching other people, hey, take advantage of me because I'm a good person. No, I'm not a good person. I'm very insecure in my worth. So let me go ahead and bend over backwards so that you think I'm a good person because I'm good at manipulation. That's what I realized I was doing. I was manipulating people. Okay. So, no, no more of that. No more of that. We have to allow ourselves to rise. It was this card. We have to allow ourselves to receive our replenishment. We have to set very healthy boundaries and we have to allow ourselves the freedom to enforce those boundaries. Okay. Anyone who tries to convince you that you are somehow questionable in your worth, questionable in your integrity, questionable in your spiritual development because you're not joining them in this martyrdom, you need to cut them out of your life. I did that. I just did that right now. No. If you have repeatedly shown me this is what you want of me, to join you in that state of martyrdom, to keep giving and giving and giving, despite the fact that I know this is not in alignment with me or my path, I'm cutting you out of my life permanently. I no longer have time or space for that. And it's not that I only want people who are in agreement with me in my life, because all the people who are my real friends, they know. You can check me. You can be like, girl, you're tripping. And I'll be like, I probably am, aren't I? But I don't have time or energy or anything for people who want to take me back to places of toxicity that I used to occupy. Mm-mm. No more. No more. And it's not that I think you're a bad person. It's that I think you're toxic for me. And I'm no longer interested in drinking poison. I'm just not. I don't think I'm above you, but I think I'm in a different place. Different place. Left to right, front to back, not above, just a different place. And if you want to join me in that different place, beautiful, beautiful. But I will not join you in that toxicity. I won't. I won't. And I'm not going to keep reaching out a stick to help drag you out of that quicksand when all you do is keep trying to pull me into the quicksand. Like, join me in here. No, buddy. No, no. And you can have whatever opinions you want. Perfectly fine with me. Because I'm no longer in that place where I need you to like me. See how that works, guys? I'm no longer in that place where I need you to like me. So now I can make healthy decisions. And that's what you need to begin doing, making healthy decisions for yourself. Okay. Letting yourself leave those places of toxicity. And if people are going to judge you for burning the bridges that take you back to the toxicity, well, in all your mercy, all your kind heartedness, when that bridge is done burning, go ahead and piss on the ashes so that there's no forest fires that are started. Okay. That's our one good deed. Just piss on the ashes. Card number 27. Again, resilience. Did we not? Mm-hmm. A mirroring. Mirroring. Okay. Ooh, different decks too. Okay. So this is a mirroring. Your resilience is very much tied into how willing are you to allow that fuckery back into your life. Are you willing to let that back in? You want to keep carrying it? Are you their beast of burden? I'm not. I mean, I'll help you carry that load, but if you think you're going to tie that shit to my back and have me hunched over, I don't think so. I have a bad lower back. This will really fuck me up. I'm done. No, I'm not doing that no more. Nope. Nope. Mm-mm. And sometimes you have to burn away the past. Again, you have to burn the bridges that take you back to that toxicity. It's not about, I'm better than you now. Oh, no, I don't like you. You're a bad. No, no, no. No, 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 no. I should have ego. Ego's not a bad thing. Ego's not a bad thing. Okay? It's not a bad thing. Me speaking my truth frees other people to speak their truth, to live their truth. If you're not in alignment with how I read and what I'm reading, you should go to someone else. Go to someone else to read for you. But the fact is, you're here for a reason because your soul needed you to hear this. And maybe it rubs you wrong that I speak truth and I'm not trying to sugarcoat and I'm not trying to get followers or anything like that. I'm not going to bend over backwards for you. I'm not. This is my truth. This is my truth. And unless you understand the history of what's led me to this truth, you absolutely have no right to try and condemn me. Let me tell you guys another thing. Ego does not need to be destroyed. It has its perfect place and role in your life. This concept by spiritual new age people that ego needs to be destroyed. It's absolute bullshit. If ego needed to be destroyed, don't you think the grand creator of all things, who knows everything and has a grand plan, would have eliminated ego to begin with? It's only when ego is kept out of balance and not allowed to function in the way it does, where it's bringing your attention to the things you need to be paying attention to. That's the time when you get out of whack. As a matter of fact, when my ego flares up, I shrink myself. And you don't get to do that to me. No, I'm standing full in my power at this point. You don't get to tell me I'm a bad person because I've been through a long ass life of trying to prove to other people that I'm a good person. And at this point, I figured myself out enough to know I'm a good fucking person. A very, very good person. And no one gets to take me away from that knowing. No one. No one. So if you can't stand the fact that I speak truth as I know it, which means nothing to anyone, okay? This is my truth as I know it. I'm not going to manipulate my truth to suit your needs. And this is what people need to begin doing. Really, this is what you need to begin doing. Allowing yourself to just exist. Some people might try and tear you down. That's not your issue. You don't have to correct them. You don't have to prove anything to them. You don't. You don't, because they're going to believe whatever they believe. They come to you wanting something, and they want it. The people who are very twisted, they want you to give them something in the way they want it. How is that mutually beneficial? It's not. And then they want to throw out some sort of insult. It doesn't insult me. It doesn't. Part of my life mission, part of my soul purpose is to understand the balancing of ego. Because again, like I said, people who really know me, they know that when my ego flares, it's flipped. It doesn't make me feel like I'm better than anyone. It makes me feel real small. And that's okay. That too is okay because it's a part of the phases that I go through. So right now, this is me at my healthiest because I'm not allowing my ego to take over and tell me, no one wants to hear this, girl. You're looking stupid, girl. People are going to think you're this and that. I don't care what people think. I love in such a way where you can think whatever you want. You're free to do so in my presence. You can tell me you don't agree with me. You can say whatever you need to say. Doesn't mean I'm going to listen. Sometimes I will. Oftentimes I won't. So, burning away the very things that try and take you back to the toxicity. Let it burn. Let it burn. There's no shame in that. There's none. None. And you don't have to take it personally. Like right now, I'm not taking it personally. All I'm doing is allowing that person's ugliness to go ahead and be used as fuel for my rise. Because this conversation would have never happened if they never talked about that. Is there shame in me being who I am? Absolutely not. Not everyone's going to agree, but I know I'm a beautiful person. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about this. I lived my entire life trying to get the validation from other people that I thought I needed. Failing to realize the only validation I actually needed was for myself. I know who I am at this point. I know my value. I know my place. I know I'm supposed to speak on things with no shame, no fear, no hesitation. I know that's part of my soul's function. Once you guys understand what your soul's function is, don't let anyone take that from you. And you don't have to fight. You simply have to exist. Ooh, let that sink in. Wow. Once you understand your purpose, even a part of your purpose, you don't have to fight for that. You just have to exist. Hot diggity damn. And that's all I'm doing. Existing. That's it. So, card number 15, action. Life is a dance. It truly is a dance. It's not about running forward. It's about staying in your grace as you move through your life. Just stay in your grace as you move through your life. And in the moments where you kind of fall out of your grace, it's okay. Keep dancing anyways. Keep dancing anyways. This is not a choreographed thing. Excuse me. This is a free-form dance. Okay? Stay in your grace as you move through your life. And staying in your grace does not mean you always speak in a hushed whisper. Staying in your grace means being flexibly strong, allowing people to throw rocks at you and being able to just sway side to side with no fear, knowing none of that is going to hit you, not without your permission. Stay in your grace and keep dancing. Here goes. Ooh. Card number 5, follow your own rhythm. I mean, okay, 2 different decks. Follow your own rhythm. Just follow it. Allow yourself to dance. I mean, did I break my stride addressing ugly? No, I didn't. You talk about what you need to talk about and move forward when you need to move. Just keep moving. Keep flowing. Allow that energy to just keep flowing. That energy is your truth. Don't get caught up on one little thing. How many times has soul brought people into this very live stream to try and trip me up? No. Your presence in my live, for those that try to trip me up, if I happen to see your comment, it's because that's something I need to talk about. This is soul guiding me on what to talk about, because I never know what the live stream is going to be about. I just don't. So obviously this live stream is about me recognizing, for some people, I am as a template, a spiritual template of how to find your truth. Is it because I'm leading you? No, it's because I'm here to inspire you. By existing with no fear of being who I am, it frees you to be who you are too. Not to be like me, but to be inspired to be more you. Let that bullshit go. The people who need you to be a certain way, they're never going to be satisfied with you anyways. I know this for a fact. They're never going to be satisfied no matter how much you try, how much you give. It will never be enough because they are still caterpillars. And what do caterpillars do? They are designed to simply consume, 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 consume. You are a butterfly. You've gone through that phase of consumption as a caterpillar, and then you became a puddle of goop, because that's what happens to caterpillars when they transform into a butterfly. They go deep within themselves, and they allow themselves to be dissolved. And then when they emerge, they have wings. Recognize you're no longer a caterpillar. You can never actually fulfill your purpose clinging to branches and leaves and consuming, consuming, consuming. Look at the life of a butterfly. It flies around with no care in the world, drinking the sweetness of life from flower to flower. Does it have any guilt for allowing itself to receive the sweetness of one flower and another flower and another flower? Mm-mm. It just knows this is what we should do. Should we be friends with caterpillars? You should be friends with whoever your heart feels should be a friend. This is not about segregation. This is about recognizing your truth. When you're ready to fly, you should fly. Does that mean you now can no longer relate to or hang out with caterpillars? No, it doesn't. It means you understand the process. You've already been through it. So you don't have to hold a grudge when someone doesn't understand you because they're still in a caterpillar. They don't understand your metamorphosis. Does that mean you get angry? No. You know, I was angry too. I was afraid too at one point when I was a caterpillar, and I could feel my skin stretching, but I still kept consuming. I was scared too. I was like, is this it? Is this all there is? And I was afraid of becoming that pile of goop because would I cease to exist? So in many ways, not only do you not have to associate with caterpillars, I think because you've known exactly what the process is that you went through, you know what this is, you know what they're going through, the fear, the lashing out. It means you should be just a little bit more patient. It doesn't mean you have to take their caca. No, absolutely not. But you fly away and you be patient. Don't take it to heart. And when they become a butterfly as well, and they fly and they find you again, like, hey, how are you? I remember you were going through some stuff before. How'd that go? because you're not taking it personally, because you know it's a part of the process that you went through as well. So, card number 8, flow. Just allow yourself to flow. Something has changed. The direction of your life stream has changed. And it's not a bad change. It's a very, very good change. Oh, so many messages in this card. Mm, 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 mm. Wow. Spider webs. Stay out of other people's webs. If you created a web for yourself, that's perfectly fine, because you know what? Spiders know which strands to walk on and not get entangled. Now, we talked about the butterflies, about the change. What about the dragonflies? That also means spiritual evolution. It means you're rising up. Okay? So, what happened? Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So, right here and right here, you see faces in the rock. Hold on. You see faces in the rock, right? Right here and right here. These are the people who try and constrict the flow of your energy. And that's fine. This is a reminder. You will always flow, whether they allow you to flow organically or try and constrict you and turn you into a waterfall. You will always flow. No fear. Absolutely no fear. All right, card number 4, doable. This life is doable. Okay? Whatever you came here to experience, you will get through it. You absolutely will get through it. The key is right there. It's right there. All you have to do is reach for it. That's all you have to do. And look at that. As you reach for the key, you'll recognize peace is what was holding it this whole time. So you're reaching for your peace, your inner peace, a peace that you can create externally as well. And in order to create that external peace, you have to be willing to cut away that which no longer serves, that which is just basically dead weight. That's a harsh thing to say, but it's the truth. You have to remove that which is no longer living within your truth. It's not because you're better, it's because you deserve to keep growing. Other people's needs should not trump your own. Having an understanding of what you need and honoring that need, that's not unspiritual. That's a very powerful thing. And to be honest, those who are in a position to be heard, many, not all, but many, they will say and do whatever it takes to continue to get you to believe. You have to stay, you have to have allegiance, you have to believe, you have to agree, you have to follow behind. And honestly, that's what sets me so different, so apart from that whole thing. I'm not here to be your leader. I'm not here for you to follow. I'm here to just deliver messages and be done with the live and go back to my regular living. So I don't gain from you wanting to continue to listen to me. I don't gain anything from that. Okay? What you need to be loyal to is yourself and your needs. And people who are deep into the spiritual game, because it's a game, they would tell you, oh, Emmy's speaking crazy. That's selfishness. No, it's not selfish. Not selfish in the way humanity has defined selfishness. Because, oh, well, you're all about yourself. Why do you want me to be all about you? Is that why? Forget about me. I should focus on you. Forget what happens to me. You're the one that's important. I don't think so. I lived most of my life like that. I really did. I lived most of my life like that, and I was so unhappy. So unhappy. And I was so silent. It was in that period that I lost my voice. Because in order for you to continue to exist that way, you have to shut yourself up. Heaven forbid you speak a truth that they don't want to hear. That's deep, right? Heaven forbid you speak a truth they don't want to hear. So what do? You swallow it and you pack it down and you allow yourself to create blockages within yourself. And what happens when you blow out these chakras that you're holding all of this oppressed energy in? What happens when it blows out and you then develop conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia? Who takes care of you then? Oh, it's because you're not taking care of yourself. Oh, the very people who have forced you to comply with their demands are the very people who will then throw in your face when you are at your lowest and no longer of use. They will throw in your face, well, it's because you don't take care of yourself. That's right, bitch, because I've been busy taking care of you. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying, my truth, Marcy, she says, I love your truth punches. Man, I'm punching at the throat. If I'm throwing some truth punches, I'm punching at the throat because y'all need to start speaking your truth. Start speaking your truth. And hey, you can even speak your truth to me. If you don't agree with me, you don't like me, whatever it is, just speak your truth. I don't really care. Speak it. Let yourself hear yourself for once. Let yourself hear yourself. So, card number 33, blossoming. There was another 33 card here somewhere. Ooh, in order to blossom, hydrate, card number 33. Card number 33, blossom. Different decks. All right, different decks. So, in order for the flower to blossom, you have to first fully hydrate it. You have to find that beautiful balance of hydration, because if you overwater a plant, most likely you'll cause it to rot. Most likely you'll see it begin to die, drowning in its own energy. But when you allow just the right amount of water to flow through, this is the very reason why most pots will have holes at the bottom to drain out the excess. This is the very reason why you're not supposed to hold on to energy. That's a fear mindset. That's a lacking mindset, impoverished mindset. You have to allow energy, gifts, whatever it is, to be placed in your hand and the excess to flow through your fingers. Okay, that's all you have to do. Just allow it to flow. And what ends up happening, you end up blossoming. Okay, you end up blossoming. Allow yourself to blossom. Really, really do. Allow yourself to blossom. Let's pull. Oh, no. Okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. So I'm supposed to do a Blu-ray reading. That was for the Blu-ray reading. This is not the Blu-ray reading. All right, guys. So what did we learn today? What did we learn today in Emmie's School of Life? We learned it's okay to be you, and it's okay for people to not like you. It's okay for people to not agree, because in no way, shape, or form does that diminish your worth. No, not unless you allow it. Okay. And for those that are just tuning in, I did say earlier in the video that I'm going to be having an actual fire ceremony outside with a fire pit for today's 444 portal. Okay. If you'd like to get a fire blessing or anything like that, I have other services available. Very limited quantities, though. You can go ahead to my website, emmieevolving.com. Let's see. All right, guys. Yes, Untitled Tarot. Whether or not someone accepts you doesn't have a bearing on whether or not you're acceptable as you are. Absolutely. Absolutely. You set your worth. Don't ever allow someone else to convince you to put yourself on clearance. No, 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 no. They can walk their ass over to Ross or Marshall's or fucking whatever else places that have, no, you're a one-of-a-kind piece. You belong in a gallery with all the other beautiful, precious items. Don't you ever allow someone to convince you to put yourself on clearance. Okay? Whether you're brave enough to or not. I mean, if you're not brave enough to tell them you're not on clearance, you let them know, Emmie said, fuck you. You let them know, hey, I can't talk to you anymore. Emmie said, fuck you, and I shouldn't talk to you. If you don't have the courage to do it, I have no problem with you saying, Emmie said for me to say fuck you. I told my mama that. She was scared to say no to people. I told her, tell him, my daughter said fuck you. She told the doctor that one time. My daughter said fuck you. I'm like, Mom, I'm right here in the room. That only works if I'm not in the room. Because usually if the doctor is like telling her something she doesn't want, she looks at me. She goes like that. She looks at me. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I don't think my mother's in agreement with that. But I told her, if I'm not in the room and you're scared to tell the doctor no, because she's a nurse, she knows all of these things. I told her, tell them, my daughter said, fuck you. Don't talk to me until she goes. She told the doctor, well, you can't do that if I'm in the room. You just tell me, tell him, fuck you. And I'll say it for you. All right. Three of Wands, travel over land, surveying your kingdom. This is a message for you guys to begin realizing it's time to look over what you've allowed to be perpetuated, to be seeded in your kingdom, in your garden. Okay. A lot of people will come around trying to plant seeds in your garden. And if you allow it, you allow it. But that seed's not going to grow until you water it. You know what I'm saying? Don't water the seeds that people plant in your garden that are not in alignment with you and your journey. Okay? Card number 20. Oh, no. Judgment. Decisions pending finality, the only decision that can be made under the circumstance. For many of you, you're kind of, much of this reading is probably talking about certain people, certain connections you have. And there's a part of you that's like, that's right. I mean, I'm going to cut them off. But then there's this other part of you that's like, oh, but they're a really good friend. Don't cut people off just because you think that's what I'm telling you to do. Sit quietly for a little bit. Let your heart and your mind talk and come to a conclusion after that. Not just because you heard something on some random video on YouTube. Allow yourself to remember you are a sovereign. Only you can decide for yourself. There's going to be plenty of people in your life that will tell you, oh, you're stupid if you do this. You're stupid if you don't do this. They're stupid for being in your business. It's usually the people who have no business telling you about your business that will be the ones talking. Okay? The last person you should be listening to is the person who's so busy in everybody's business that they haven't taken the time to take care of their own affairs. I ain't got time to tell you about your business and what you should do. No, I'm busy working on myself. I'm just sharing what I'm learning. You take your time, decide for yourself what you need to do for your life, because you're the only one that's going to be dealing with the consequences of the decisions. All right. Especially with relationship, you will find so many people willing to voice their opinion on what you should do. I mean, if you're going to them asking, that's one thing, but if they're just giving you that without asking, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It's like those people who don't have kids that are telling you how to parent. Oh, that's cute because you have dogs. Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, no, that shit don't work. Like you, it doesn't translate. It doesn't translate. So just know that, okay? Just know that. King of Pentacles, young man, visitors, messages to share. Ooh. For some of us, this might be an actual young man giving you messages. For many of us, though, this is feeling like the masculine within us is beginning to speak up. Okay. What I've noticed is that the masculine has been so bashed for so long, like even just the masculine energy within you, because we all have masculine and feminine inside us. That energy has been bashed for so long, the masculine's been quiet, has kind of just been existing. And now the masculine's needing to speak up. So I think this has a lot to do with people needing to speak their truth with no fear, no shame, no hesitation. I'm not talking about being rude to people. I'm talking about just being you, okay? And not going out of your way to tell people, you can't talk to me like that anymore. Now, if they bring it to you, of course, just no. Okay, Shanae. Ow, sorry. I hurt myself with that. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Work, paid work. To me, this is about spiritual development. You're not going to be compensated in the way you think because you're doing your spiritual work. Absolutely not. If you're thinking you're going to be doing your spiritual work and expanding your consciousness and people have to notice, people have to compliment you and be like, "Good job," then you're not actually doing the work. You're not actually doing the work. And that's okay. If you're not ready to do the work, then you're not ready to do the work. But don't think that doing the work means you're going to have people like standing in line applauding you. Some of us might not, and you have to be okay with that. Okay. Two of Cups, peace of mind, joining of two people. I think this is about the joining of your masculine and your feminine. Okay. Because many of us exist in a duality where we have to either be masculine or either be feminine, not both. Well, I exist in my totality, so I have both. And that's why people who don't know me and never watch my lives, they come on the live stream seeing the feminine and they think they can get all crazy with me. And then the masculine comes out and like punches them in the throat. And then the feminine is like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's about it. Let me get you guys one final card, get you your poetry, and leave you with that. I don't know what time it is, but I have sessions starting, I think. Oh, Knox, that's a difficult thing to work through. My problem is wanting to be seen or validated, or else I feel my experience isn't real. Well, you'll work through it. I believe in you. I believe you'll work through it. I believe at some point someone's going to piss you off enough that you're going to be like, fuck that. That's kind of what had to happen to me because I thought I was crazy since no one else was experiencing it. And then finally I was like, fuck that shit. I know my ass got thrown down the stairs by something unseen. I didn't fake that. I know I didn't fake that shit. So here we go. Here we go, you guys. Ooh, card number 4, the Cloak of Christ. 4 being the number of self. That's huge. This is about you. This is about you. This whole journey is about you, no one else. The other people that come into your life are people who are sent to you by your soul to help you understand certain lessons. It was never about them. The only time it's about someone else is when they're a reflection of something within you that you don't yet have the courage to address. That's the only time. That's to prime you, to get you comfortable with addressing your own things, okay? So card number 4, the Cloak of Christ. In the school of humanity, when you've become intimate with God, you reside on the King's throne and teach the angels the nature of the divine. My sacred brother, he who shares my heart and yours, beating as one in harmony with a great unending love, brings you the mantle of his protection. Do you imagine that there is any part of your life, of your body, of your soul, that is outside of the realm of his divine love and protection? Offer all to him, leave nothing cast aside. He and I together receive you absolutely, without condition now. The compassion born out of our own struggles tempers the karmic weight of divine justice. We have been through the same journey you are taking now, sweet divine soul. In oneness with the divine heart, we know of your efforts and of your struggles. So what is bestowed upon you now is the restoration of forgiveness, of kindness, of mercy. My sacred brother speaks to you. He shall receive your darkness and your light, the angel of your heart and the demon of your fear. Nothing is greater than my brother's love for you. Nothing is greater than my holy passion for you. Take refuge under the cloak of Christ, the mantle of my sacred brother, and know that you are held in a loving sanctuary. You are tired, beloved. Your soul has been ravaged inside and out, and you are succumbing to struggle that's not karmic or necessary, but a symptom of fatigue and weariness of heart, mind, body, and soul. That which plagues you, whether something specific or a general nagging malaise or anxiety you cannot quite pin down, is not as powerful as you fear. You are being given a grace here and now that it may be overcome. Remember, your reactions are a symptom of your exhaustion and a sign that you need respite, sanctuary, restoration. They are not a sign that something must be done so much as a sign that something must be received, allowed. That something is healing made possible through divine protection. In this instance, protection is bestowed through the cloak of Christ. This cloak is a sacred container that places your body and soul within the loving energy of the Christ consciousness. This unconditionally loving energy is not limited to the being bearing its name, but is shared by Rumi and many other holy ones. It is typified by wholeness. There is nothing within you that would cause the Christ to turn away from you. Not even those parts of you that may fill you with fear, shame, guilt, or regret. He and Rumi are sacred brothers, loving and supportive of each other, and they see your soul as one of their family, one of their own. You are so loved by them both, equally and without measure. Can you allow yourself to take refuge in this knowledge, to feel it not only as an idea, nourishing as that is, but as a visceral reality where you complete the sacred honoring ritual and allow yourself to feel the peace and receive healing? The knowledge of the Christ's unconditional love for you is a safe space, a place to fall into when you are struggling. It's a sacred container for your healing process, an energetic field that is stronger and more enduring than even the greatest fears or doubts. The purpose of this sacred container is to provide you with a feeling of being held, especially for those times when you are feeling that you cannot hold yourself. Sometimes we just need permission to break down, to really let go, to come apart and be dissembled so that we can break through, be lifted up, and come together in a new, more spiritually coherent and loving form to move forward. For you, this is essential. There is a person, place, thing, or belief that has come to be like a manacle around your wrist or an iron ball and leg iron, preventing you from moving forward with the grace you have earned spiritually. You are being empowered here to shed that. Don't hesitate. Let yourself be cloaked in the Christ energy and receive the spiritual assistance you deserve now. There's a reason for this. The unfolding of your life purpose is taking a turn for the better, and your energy is required to fuel that new life. This is particularly so if you have also drawn, no, we didn't draw that. Just remember that whenever we're asked to release something, it's because the divine wishes to fill our hearts and hands with more. Do not hold on to scraps for fear that the feast will be denied to you. Use your nose, smell the feast awaiting you. Oh, that is so beautiful and so applicable to everything we talked about in this live. Everything. Mm. Releasing the things that have been feeding from you unnecessarily, allowing yourself to fly like a butterfly, receiving the sweetness, the nectar from flower to flower without guilt, without a sense of owing, just allowing yourself to exist, opening yourself to the possibility that there is something out there that loves you so completely and wholeheartedly that you, as you are right now, is absolutely enough because you are enough. You really, truly are. And if you allow yourself to flow through your journey, you'll begin to experience everything we talked about in a very visceral way. You'll really begin to experience it where it's not just words on some live stream. It's almost as though your soul was giving you advance notice of how your life is about to change for the better, where you begin to understand yourself more, accept yourself more, and receive your abundance. Abundance is more than just money. Abundance, love, support, all kind of beautiful things. Allow your natural abundance to come in. You're not taking from someone else. Empaths, I struggled with this myself. This feeling that if I allow myself to receive what's rightfully mine, that I'm depleting someone else, and that's just not true. Creation is limitless. It gives every single last one of us our own abundance. Allowing yourself to receive what's rightfully yours in this life and beyond does not deplete anyone else. It doesn't take from anyone else because this was made just for you. This life, this journey, all the people that will come to you, whether they help heal you or hurt you, they're all a part of your divine abundance to grow you in ways you never thought you could. So allow your growth, okay? Definitely allow your growth. And I hope you guys join me for today's Fire Portal, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I have posts on Facebook, Insta, and YouTube. So if you want more information, it gives you the link to find the information. 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'll be live. And just so you guys know, I moved right by a freaking vortex. I moved by a vortex. That was a wicked laugh. I moved by a vortex. So tonight's fire ceremony is going to be on a whole nother level. I hope to see you guys there. Bye.